This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
All right, another Farm Monitor off and running without Kenny B. He is off this week. His absence, however, the only change in format. We're still going to begin the show like we always do, and that's with something we call the Show Rundown. Straight ahead, chances are you've seen them at a farmer's market near you. Well, now you get to hear their story, the unique and painstaking steps this Georgia business takes in order to meet the demand for fresh, locally grown mushrooms. Also on the show, their approach to making award-winning cheeses has been a hands-on approach. Damon Jones, however, explains how the success of this North Georgia creamery can also be attributed to a local college. Plus,
well, hey everybody, Ranger Nick. Coming up a little bit later in the show, I'm hanging out and eating in Georgia in a cow pasture. It's quiet right now. The cows are feeding behind me. We're going to talk about what's feeding on them and what you need to know about that a little bit later. That and a whole lot more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
You know, there's a very good reason why Georgia is so diverse from an agricultural standpoint. It's our climate. And within the past few years, it's become even more diverse as the culinary mushroom industry has started to take shape. John Holcomb traveled to Northwest Georgia and spoke to one grower who took a leap of faith onto that proverbial mushroom gravy train.
Meet Rachel Braden, an entrepreneur who started this mushroom business 4 years ago with her husband in their basement. It was an adventure she set out to utilize space they didn't use, and little did she know it would become what it is today. All it took was some dedication and a lot of time reading information online.
I did a lot of research online. I talked to a lot of people that did it small scale. So I took a lot of their advice and I just ran with it. So we started here. This was actually originally the fruiting room, which was not ideal. I don't recommend it if you do it long term. It was always meant to be short term, but there was always obstacles. But we have 1,500 square foot here in the basement. So we used the first half to start everything into a cleaner space, and then here it was the fruiting room. It was constantly a battle because there's a lot of water when it goes to growing mushrooms. So I'm happy to have moved out of the basement with that part. But now this is our incubation space, so this is where everything comes to just colonize for 3 to 8 weeks.
Over the past 4 years, there has been a lot of learning and change involved in her operation. She has since expanded and moved the fruiting room from her basement into this building and produces some of the most beautiful mushrooms you've ever seen. And though it hasn't been easy, she says it just takes time to get things working properly.
It was all just trial and error. The same people that taught me how to do it small scale were the same people that were doing it small commercial scale. So this is still considered small. Like, this is by no means big. I don't grow anything over 200 pounds. So it's still considered a commercial business or commercial farm, but it's nowhere near big. I grow probably 100 more pounds than I did 4 years ago. So I'm keeping it small just because I'm one person. But I had a lot of advice, a lot of late conversations with a lot of growers that have been experienced in doing it. A lot of trial and error, I guess you can say.
She has since almost perfected the process and sells commercially to restaurants and even is a vendor at different farmers markets in the area. Of course, though, she still deals with some challenges. The main one with growing mushrooms is consistency, and says that if things aren't near perfect or things fall behind, it can really affect her in the long run.
Mushrooms don't wait, but they need to have a schedule. Like I said, these guys are in here for 3 to 8 weeks. The process for that prior is pretty detrimental. You know, you have to get this ratio just right and then sterilization just right. With mushrooms, there's fungus everywhere, in the air, on surfaces. So you don't want them to compete with anything else. And contamination happens. When it happens, you lose, that potential number that you need to survive that week.
Reporting in Plainville for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
John, thank you so much. Meantime, American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall is hearing from America's farmers and ranchers about the pressing issues facing their operations. Duvall says they're not only concerned about the proposed changes in stepped-up basis, but also what they need from the EPA during the Waters of the U.S. rule rewrite effort.
EPA's been holding listening sessions about rewriting the rule and taking comments, and we're very proud that about 75% of them sessions were farmers and ranchers that volunteered. I think that was a great showing. So we're real proud of the way agriculture stepped up to let EPA know that we want clean water, but we also have to have clear rules. I know our farmers and ranchers are busy, but I'm telling you, we need to make sure that our farmers and ranchers be engaged on what's going on in Washington, D.C. We encourage them to be part of an organization like Farm Bureau, and alongside of Farm Bureau, be part of their commodity organization so that we can work in tandem, working for the same outcome.
With literally thousands of varieties to choose from, there is a perfect cheese for everyone, no matter their taste buds. And over the past decade, one Georgia company has been providing consumers some of the highest quality cheese with a little help from a local college. Damon Jones now with more from Carroll County.
The process of turning this raw milk into award-winning cheese is a long and time-consuming process. In fact, the cheese that Utterly Cool Creamery is producing today won't be ready to eat for months. However, it's an occupation the owners wouldn't have any other way, and that passion comes through in their product, which saw a significant increase in demand over a short period of time.
It probably doubled in the first 3 or 4 years, and then it leveled out for the most part. We never really had the thought that we would want to become huge. Like I say, we feel very blessed to be able to just be where we are and do what we do and still have time to enjoy our families. And so, yeah, we're about where we want to be. This year we're selling more than we can make, so we couldn't be better off with that.
That's one of the reasons they're able to make such high-quality cheese that their customers just can't seem to get enough of. With the product being made in smaller batches, every step of the process is carefully monitored.
Everything is hands-on. As you can see, there's no automation. There's no depending on a machine to do something that we're not looking at. We've got our hands in literally in every part of it every day, and it's just us.
Another reason is the top quality milk they work with, which is provided by the student-run dairy business at Berry College. It's a natural partnership considering Jeff is an alum and worked at the very operation back in his college days.
We thought that we were going to actually either have goats or a few cows, but because of his relationship with Berry and everything that he'd learned through the years with that dairy and working at other dairies in the region, we were offered the opportunity to use their milk with our cheese making process. And that was really exciting because it included the students with the enterprise, and we've had a lot of fun with that.
And having fun is what it's all about, which is why this husband and wife duo are always looking to create new varieties despite the extra work it adds.
It adds a little bit to it, but it also keeps it from being mundane. So, if you did the exact same thing every day, then that would get kind of routine, and I think you'd lose a little focus along the way with that. So it is nice that we vary a little bit. It does get hectic trying to balance what do we make today, or what are we going to need the most of in 3 months, because our market constantly fluctuates. So that part's a challenge, but it does keep it a little bit interesting. It's
very fulfilling, and it's a lot of fun, and it's mostly fun with the markets and the farmers markets and the CSAs. We have a distributor, wineries. It's just been a fun journey to get where we are.
Reporting from Carroll County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Well, hey everybody, Ranger Nick coming up. Georgia heat means flies on cows, and if you've ever wondered why some of your cows have more flies than others, I've got the answer that UGA is studying after the break.
I'm Glenn Hurd. I'm headquarters in Branson, Georgia. I've farmed, this is my 42nd crop. We farm in Decatur, Seminole, Baker, and Miller County. We grew lots of crops. We peanuts, cotton, corn, wheat, and milo, and we have 2 vegetable crops, and that's sweet corn and carrots. Actually, what I love the most is the change throughout the year. You know, we're planting, because on our farm we're planting nearly all the time, and we're harvesting nearly all the time. But what I like the most about the time of year is we're doing something different all the time, and that's my employees loves that. There's not the same old thing every day. We're doing something different. We do the most important thing that day, and that changes every day. So I think we all like it just because of that. For future generations of farmers, I recommend that they prepare. It's going to be hard. It's not easy to do, but prepare and do the very best job you can. And at the same time, as I just said, it's enjoyable. Even though we work a lot of hours more than most any other industry, we still we're flexible on our hours, and we can do some of the things we really enjoy doing, being with our family, just doing the things we like doing. Sure, we enjoy the business, but to stay in business, we need to prepare, and even afterwards, I believe strongly in education while we actually are doing it, to stay up. Everything changes so quick, and we need to have the knowledge to make it successful. Farming is what I do, but there's many facets of agriculture. And I find all facets of agriculture interesting. Agriculture for me has been a fulfilling career. I hope to do it as long as I can.
Annoying, pesky, painful, and very expensive. No, not talking about our beloved Ranger Nick. They describe his subject matter for this month. Roll that intro.
Well, here I am this month hanging out in Eatonton, Georgia, in the middle of a field with a bunch of cows behind me. And if you get to thinking about this, some of those cows have more flies on them than others, and that got me wondering, why is that? And I got introduced to a gentleman on our campus at UGA in Athens, Dr. Ram Rakaya. Hey, Dr. Ram.
Hey, Nick.
And this gentleman knows a thing or two about flies on cows. And Doc, what's the problem with having flies on them, other than it just kind of looks like it's annoying as heck? What's the problem?
Well, Nick, it's a big economic problem for our beef producers. Remember, every fly of those feeds on around 30 meals of blood a day.
Wow.
That will lead to a major economic losses that are around $1 billion based on 1991 estimates, and new estimates in 2018 put the economic losses due to these horn flies around $1.6 to $1.8 billion. And they still think those are underestimates.
Incredible. I mean, and you said horn flies. These aren't the folks, the little folks, the flies that are in our homes buzzing around. It's a different kind.
These are different kind of flies. These are a little bit smaller than the house flies, and they are roughly around 3 to 5 millimeters, roughly 1/8 to 1/6 of an inch.
Interesting. And obviously these ladies are somewhat upset maybe by us being here or the flies, but it causes stress for them. I can see. I mean, absolutely. And does that stress then relate to what?
Well, the stress because when the flies are feeding on those animals, right, the bites are painful for the animal.
Sure.
So that's the pain the animal will feel. And when you have 1,000 or 800 flies on the side of one animal, that will lead to a major pain to the animal. And that's why they see them moving their tails, trying to get rid of those flies.
Yeah, including me out here. And that kind of stress, that kind of movement's got to impact weight and milk quality. And Dr. Ram is a gentleman who's studying this stuff. I want to show you what UGA is doing about this problem, and I want to go there next. So let's fly there next. That little guy right there, has close to a $2 billion impact on the cattle industry nationally. Doc, what's UGA doing about this?
Well, let me first tell you what other people are doing about it, and then we'll go to the UGA thing. Basically, there are three basic methods to manage or control horn flies. The first one is the so-called biological method. Okay? The second one is the disruption of the life cycle of the fly.
Okay.
And the third option is to use insecticides, to spray the animal with a certain insecticide. Well, obviously, UGA came up with a different way to look at the problem, and we are trying to focus on the host rather than the fly. So we are trying to see if we can use the cow itself to control flies. And this research has started based on some funding we got from the Georgia Beef Commission. And through that grant, we start looking at how can we control or manage the horn fly problem in beef cattle by trying to use genetic solution, meaning that will it be possible to identify animals that are more resistant, more tolerant to the horn fly, and then use those animals in our breeding scheme.
So I'm a farmer and I've got genetic information about each of my cows on my farm. Could you use that and help me identify which cows are more likely to have horn flies than others?
Hopefully that's our end goal, is to be able to develop or come up with a genetic solution based on genotype information that is available for some farmers now. So we are trying to conduct our association analysis to associate the resistance and tolerance to horn flies to these marker genotypes, and hopefully we could come up with a genetic or genomic signature that the farmer can use when they are selecting their heifers and animals.
Just so interesting. And I got to ask you this, Doc. Some of the folks at home may have read stories about painting white stripes on black cows, Angus cows, to make them look more like a zebra, because there's been some European studies that show that those white stripes help control those flies. What do you think?
Nick, I saw the same report I think you are talking about. And yeah, it's a research that has been done in Europe, and perhaps it's true what they are seeing. The only issue I have with that kind of research is that it's logistically complex to implement in a production setup.
Absolutely. Unless you have a very rambunctious son or daughter that you need to give them something to do, get them out there painting the white stripes of the cows. Ron, thanks so much for today.
Thank you,
I
Nick.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
So interesting. Y'all know what to do. While you're online looking up that study about the stripes, check out the Farm Monitor Facebook page. Check out the Ranger Nick Facebook page and see what I've got going on. And until next time, for the Farm Monitor, as I always say, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you that enthusiasm is contagious. So pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for this today. We'll see you back here next month. See ya.
Up next, the incredible program that's helping to restore the many benefits trees provide to storm-struck Georgia communities.
Hey everybody, Seth Hawkins, Community Forester of the Georgia Forestry Commission here. Today I'm here to introduce the Relief Program from the Georgia Forestry Commission and the Georgia Tree Council. So after major storm events such as Hurricane Michael or other smaller storms such as tornadoes that come throughout the state, there's a lot of trees that have been lost to those storms in the last few years. The majority of a city's tree canopy is actually held on residential private property, so it's really important for us to make sure that those trees in back and front yards are getting replanted following these storm events. The Relief Program provides opportunities for your community to get grant funding to either plant trees in public spaces or provide free trees to residents to start to restore that residential tree canopy. So today we're just going to go over some of the species you can expect to see at these tree giveaway events if your community participates in Relief. Swamp white oak is a great native shade tree, well adapted for urban compacted soils. It features dark green deciduous leaves in the summer with great vibrant yellow fall color. It can get well over 60 feet tall, so adequate overhead and underground soil space is a must. Make sure to plant this species in the full sun where you need to restore lost canopy. Shumard oak is another great native shade tree known for its urban tolerance and great performance. It's very drought tolerant and fast growing relative for an oak. It has great red-orange color in the fall. It can also get over 60 feet tall, so again, adequate overhead and underground space is a must. Also plant this tree in the full sun to restore lost canopy. Black gum's another awesome native species well adapted for urban soils that might have poor drainage issues. It has dark green summer leaves with great fall color. You can have red, orange, purple, and yellow on the same tree or even on a single branch. This tree can reach over 50 feet tall, so make sure you have adequate overhead space and plenty of soil area. Make sure to plant this species in a spot where it will get at least 6 hours of sun per day. Little Gem Magnolia provides all the charm of southern magnolia with a smaller size. It grows in an upright form and can reach about 25 to 35 feet tall. It has beautiful showy flowers from mid-spring through the summer. Make sure to have adequate soil area for this tree and make sure to plant it in a spot where it gets at least 6 hours of sun per day. Chinese pistache is a wonderful landscape tree, well adapted to urban soils and urban stresses. It has a rounded, spreading form with dark green leaves in the summer and great shades of red and orange in the fall. Chinese pistache needs at least 400 square foot of soil area, and make sure to plant it in a place that receives at least 6 hours of sun per day. Frontier elm is a great medium-sized landscape tree with resistance to Dutch elm disease and elm leaf beetle. This species can reach 30 to 40 feet tall with an upright vase shape, featuring purple-red leaves in the fall. Frontier elms need at least 400 square feet of open soil area, and make sure to plant this species in a spot that gets at least 8 hours of sun per day. The Florida maple is a landscape standout, reaching 25 to 55 feet tall depending on the site, with great orange and red fall color. Florida maple needs at least 400 square feet of soil area to thrive and plenty of overhead space to spread. Plant this species in a spot that receives at least 4 to 6 hours of sun per day, but can also do well in full sun with adequate watering. Carolina sapphire cypress is an awesome evergreen landscape tree. It grows in a pyramidal shape 35 to 45 feet tall with a spread of up to 25 feet, featuring blue-silver needles. Plant Carolina sapphire in a space with at least 400 square feet of soil area, and make sure to plant it in a spot that gets at least 8 hours of full sun per day. The Natchez variety crepe myrtle is a stunning tree renowned for its showy flowers, beautiful bark, fast growth, and tolerance of urban soil conditions. It grows in a vase shape up to 25 feet tall. It can handle limited soil area better than most species, but still should be planted in a spot with at least 200 square feet of soil. And make sure to plant it in a spot that gets at least 8 hours of sun per day. Forest pansy redbud is a deciduous tree valued for its brilliant scarlet purple color to new foliage maturing to a deep maroon in the fall. It grows in a rounded vase shape and has bright pink flowers in the early spring and begins flowering at a relatively young age. It can grow 20 to 30 feet tall with a 25 to 35 foot spread. Also make sure it has at least 200 square feet of open soil area and plant in a space that receives at least 4 hours of sun per day, but no more than 6 hours per day. So now that you have a better idea of the species you can expect to see at the Relief Tree giveaway events, and have a better idea of which species would be the best fit for your front or backyard, encourage your community to participate in the Relief program so that you and your neighbors can get your free trees to start doing your part to restore that lost tree canopy.
Seth, thanks so much. Now, before we go, a friendly reminder that for all the latest ag news regarding food, recipes, and what's happening on Georgia farms, be sure to check out all of our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.